maybe if I didn't get the neighbor mad, she wouldn't have had to shoot my mama. What is good? What is good? Ladies and gentlemen, I am Seven Blackman and your host of The Blackman Show, where we take a look at the news from your boy Seven's point of view with a little bit of something I add called 7 cents, which is just my way of analyzing some of the stuff we see and maybe even coming to a different conclusion. But if that's your sort of thing, be sure to hit that subscribe button as we grow this thing to get to our goal of 2,500 subscribers. I know I should be thankful for the ones that I got already, and trust me, I am. But I'm also thinking bigger.
You need to be thinking big, bitch.
So if you're feeling what I'm spitting, be sure to hit that like button and share this with your friends. But without further ado, let us continue. So the summer's getting long, the presidential election cycle is in full swing, and we've just seen the 2024 Olympics come to a close. And with that, here are just a few takeaways from this 30th Summer Olympic Games. COVID-19 is still alive and kicking it, but apparently the illness is nowhere near the quarantine levels of just 4 years ago.
Lyles outrun by Botswana's Letsile Tobogo and his own teammate Kenny Bednarek. Immediately after the race, Lyles appeared winded, laying on his back and looking as though he was having trouble breathing. Then he went to get medical attention, taken off the track in a wheelchair. Lyles, in a mask, later revealing why.
I woke up early, about 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and I just was feeling really horrible, and I knew it was more than just being sore from the 100, Woke up the doctors and we tested, and unfortunately it came up that I was positive for COVID.
Questions now swirling about whether Lyles should have been allowed to compete with COVID.
Simone Biles is still that chick. And coincidentally, now I'm a bigger fan of hers because her husband plays for my Chicago Bears. PhDs do not necessarily make great dancers. And Paris may be dirty, but some ladies like it like that. I mean, the man hit the pole with his pole while pole vaulting. I mean, the metas just don't stop. Anyway, but today I wanted to focus on a serious topic that we're getting an update on that took place in June of last year. And that's the shooting of one Ajike AJ Owens, Ocala, Florida resident and mother of 4. So if you don't remember, it was early summer in Florida. A rare moment had come when children actually wanted to play outside. I know, crazy concept. Well, these children, and I think it probably makes sense to tell you that they are black. These black children were playing, and apparently their shenanigans and hijinks were all done and to the ire of one Susan Lorincz. The kids were playing outside of her apartment, and she just ain't like it. So she came out, had words with them, just said something to the kids. So far, nothing too far out of the ordinary, right? That is, unless you're one of those you can't say nothing to my kids type of people, in which case you're a weirdo. The world doesn't work like that. You're showing hella insecurity, and you're setting your kids and yourself up to be at least embarrassed or at most dealt with by somebody who doesn't abide by your rules. I digress. But yeah, old Susie got some words for the kids, likely yelled at them, but then she took it a little bit too far, in my opinion, because for one, she picked up a skate and she launched it at the kids, while two, hurling racial slurs at these same kids. And see, to me, that's where it goes off the rails. I mean, I have a Latino neighbor, right? He does all kind of weird and unneighborly stuff, and when I'm mad at him for the unneighborly stuff that he does, I don't call him, a Latino slur, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he's just a slob or a weirdo, or he's just rude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't address the person. I address the thing that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if he's not what I am. I would just prefer that he be a better person of the community of which we're all a part. You know what I'm saying? And I would think that's something that we all want, right, Irving? Okay, and before we get too far into this, let me say this now, that this is just my way of seeing things. I'm not one for victim blaming or the like. I know that hindsight provides a much better vantage point than, when you're deep in the forest trying to find the trees. But I still am an advocate of thinking clearly, even at times when I myself haven't. But at the end of this, I hope y'all feel what we talking about. But with that, let's move on. So like I said, the lady's throwing things and probably yelling, you little N-word this or you little N-word that. And I could possibly understand this lady's frustration, you know, considering that she called the police about 7 times between February of 2022 and April of 2023 about children playing in the neighborhood. But see, this is when the 7th sense starts to kick in. You see what I'm saying? Because you're living in an apartment building where you have zero control over who's allowed in there. And depending on the area, you probably already know the type of environment and the people that's going to be there. You know what I'm saying? In my experience, apartments have a lot of single mothers, right? And what are you going to do about them and the children they have? What you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? They going to have the kids and the kids going to want to go outside. Sometimes the mom's going to say, hey, I'm tired of you. You go outside. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're going to see that. And the kids are going to be outside. They're going to be making noise and doing things or you know, and whatnot. I would hope they're not doing anything to the point where they're being destructive. But if they're not doing anything that's beyond the point of just making noise, what's the point? I mean, kids gonna make noise. Kids are loud. People are loud, especially when they're having fun. I mean, we're all here because we probably can't afford a better place. So let's make of it what we can. You know, that would be the mindset that your boy would have in something like that. And to be honest, I've been, like I said, right in that situation. But like I said, old girl lives where there are a bunch of kids playing in her apartment, which she obviously didn't appreciate. So she flipped. And I'm not saying anything that she did is justified, but I can kind of get her level of frustration with all the phone calls that she had made up to this point, several of them being about these kids in particular, I believe. Now, if you add to that the fact that the thought that maybe she just doesn't like black people, so having to live with them and their loud N-word kids makes it worse. Because it's not like if I have a problem with someone, I instantly start talking about their race, unless I already had those thoughts and just needed the right sort of spark plug to push my racism to the surface. But to be real, that's a you problem, Suze. Get another address if you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? They're there just as rightfully as you are. Anyway, the kids run back to mom telling her what happened. Now AJ is on charge. Don't nobody want to hear that they kids was being cussed at and having N-words thrown at them, at least of all from a neighbor. So mama does what a lot of parents may do, and I'm not saying that it's right, but this is what she did. She went over to see about Susie and had some choice words for her. Now, according to reports, she walked up to Susan's door, was banging on it, yelling and screaming, saying that she would unalive Susie, even though neighbors heard the disturbance. Nobody else heard that part of the story. And Susie now playing the role of hand-hiding rock thrower instead of getting her phone to do more of that, reporting that she did earlier, decided to bypass that step to go straight for the defense. And I mean, it's amazing when you look at it from the 20,000 foot point of view. So she was cool with calling the cops on the kids all that time, right? For a year plus or whatever. I guess because basically at that time, it's like she's setting it and forgetting it, doing the whole rotisserie chicken infomercial of decision-making thing, right? So with the cop calls, you can still claim anonymity. Then when the cop goes through the neighborhood, you could be like, I don't know who called, but oh my goodness, was someone making a sound? Was there a disturbance? You can claim that and act like ain't nothing happened. You don't know what happened. Ain't nobody mad at you. You just know somebody called the cops because somebody heard somebody doing something. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And with this lady on your porch, you can still claim anonymity or victim when making your next decision. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have done the same thing. Hey, oh my goodness, someone's coming. I'm a white woman. Please send help. You could have done that. But instead, you was like, nah, imminent danger, threat. Your door was locked. It's not like did you think she had the strength to tear down your door? Like, what did you think? You had a peephole. You could have seen what she had. She didn't have a weapon in her hand. So all she was doing was banging at your door. Your door was locked. What did you need to do beyond that point? You know what I'm saying? But again, decisions. Decisions. And I know hindsight being 20/20 and all that good stuff. But even in the midst of that, I wouldn't be thinking to grab my weapon unless I thought they had a weapon as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only point at which I would think to do something like that. But I digress. And so with AJ doing all that yelling and banging outside of Susie's door, Susan decided to, while being on the other side of the door, she decided to pull the trigger. One time. From that, AJ stumbled from the door screaming that somebody called 911 before collapsing and breathing her last breath, all in front of her children. What a memory. What a memory to have for her children. And can you imagine the amount of potential guilt that one of the kids or any of the kids may feel, thinking, maybe if I didn't get the neighbor mad, she wouldn't have had to shoot my mama. I don't know, but I would think that these 4 children are gonna need some level of counseling or something like that if they haven't received any to this point. Now, since then, Susan Lorincz, who is white, but I think that's apparent at this point, was arrested and charged with first-degree felony manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 30 years in prison if convicted. Now, she's pleaded not guilty back in July of last year and was held on a $150,000 bond for the entire year that she was in state custody. The reason that we're talking about this right now is because she's finally going to trial. As a matter of fact, as we speak, they could be very well deliberating over a trial that the judge presiding over the case, Judge Robert W. Hodges of Florida's 5th Judicial Court, thinks will conclude as soon as Friday. Now, it's speculated that AJ's 10 and 13-year-old sons will testify, but I have to say I would find it wildly interesting that despite repeated calls from Owens' family to upgrade the charge to second-degree murder, prosecutor and Florida State Attorney William Gladson said last June that there was insufficient evidence to prove a murder charge in court, saying, quote, "As deplorable as the defendant's actions were in this case, there's insufficient evidence to prove this specific and required element of second-degree murder." Okay, just to be sure, let's look up what is required to determine second-degree murder. Okay, so it says, first of all, you must prove that the defendant caused an unlawful killing of another person. Check. Let's see. Then it says, next, you've got to prove that they had a certain state of mind. For one of 3 states of mind, I believe, intention to kill. Well, I can't say that it seems like Susie had that. You know what I'm saying? Next mind state is intention to do serious bodily harm. Well, what sort of harm are you looking to do when you pull out your 380? I mean, what else are you looking to do? Is there only a suggestion? Is it not an intention when you pull it out? It's just a suggestion. Is that what it is? Is that what we saying when you pull out your? Because anytime, if a weapon is pulled out, to me it's a threat. To me it's a threat. Anyway. The third mindset to have will be to show that you have a depraved or malignant heart toward your victim. And I don't know, with us slinging the N-word and all that, but I wouldn't say that's depraved, but that's malignant. You know what I'm saying? But and I guess that's, but see, it's like, what's the point of knowing one definition of a word when in the courts they have different meanings? You know what I'm saying? And to that point, why aren't we taught those definitions instead of the ones that, get you by on the socials, but would kill you if you use them in a contract? I digress, but I'm serious. To me, when you pull out a gun, you're not doing so to welcome somebody to the neighborhood. You have intentions, and that alone should say what it is. And not to be overlooked, she's claiming that she feared for her life as well. So there's that. This is the type of stuff that I can't stand. I have no idea how this trial is going to play out, but if you're the one that's throwing skates at somebody's child, cursing them out, calling them racial slurs, you don't then get to pull the victim card and talk about how fearful you were, which is what caused you to act in such a way in the first damn place. I mean, we're here in Missouri where the story of Ralph Yarl went viral when he mistakenly went to the wrong house and was shot through the door by some racist who claimed the same thing, when it's true that he was just a racist looking to shoot somebody. I mean, look, I just don't get that we're still at a point where people are able to claim self-defense when they are the shit starters. And what makes it even worse is the fact that courts allow these defenses in certain cases. Now, black man fears for his life, take that ass whooping and die. White man fears for his life, he's justified in pulling guns on people. Black woman fears for her life and fires a warning shot, arrest her. White woman fears for her life? Well, let's see what the other people were doing first. I mean, and that's kind of how it's been playing out. And I can only hope that this Judge Hodges will see what others haven't. This is when you need to be colorblind. Look at the facts. Not how Susie reminds you of your own mother so you can relate to her, but somehow you can't relate to a parent wanting to protect their children from racial attacks because, you don't have to live with that. Why can't we have law pushers and officers who actually push the law and not their own version of it? Why are black people so easily pigeonholed as the bullies even when they're the victims? I'm not asking you, but I really should be asking the nation. I get it though. I mean, it's a different topic for a different day. So let's move on. But let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you think Susan Lorincz will be found guilty of second-degree manslaughter for the shooting of AJ Owens through her door in cold? I'd say that's in cold blood. I know they're not saying it's in cold blood, but I'd say it's in cold blood. But what do you think your level of trauma would be seeing something like that? What do you think if you were the children? If you were the children, what do you think your level of trauma would be as a child? Standing there, your mama's alive. Next thing you know, she's on the ground, breathing her last breath. I'm just saying. And lastly, what are your thoughts on Florida in general when it comes to their gun laws? Now, I know I have some thoughts about their stand your ground law, which has yet to be successfully used in black people's defense. Almost like that, along with I feared for my life and they started it are the new defenses and used to justify killing others. Whoever those others may be. But since we don't know yet which direction this trial is going to go, I will leave it to you to speculate on the final decision in those comments down below. But with that said, this has been The Blackman Show. I am 7 Blackman. Be sure to let me know what you like, what you didn't like, agreed with, or didn't in those comments. And hit the like and subscribe button as we continue to grow this thing out. And don't forget to share it with your mom like you do everything else that you love. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Even if you drive a Pontiac, just know that I ain't rolling with you. But other than that, y'all take care of each other. Until next time. Peace. And I'm out.